appreciate it if I could have one conversation without hearing the words Hannah Montana? Yeah, that's right, girl. I know Hannah Montana.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Johnny 2000, where we dive into the most nostalgic TV shows and media from the 2000s. So today, we're taking a trip back to 2006. Yeah, that's right. Stop tying your shoes because we're gonna be talking about my favorite teen sitcom, Hannah Montana. Now, there's a lot of episodes in Hannah Montana seasons, so I'm gonna split this in half. We're gonna do part 1, the first 13 out of the 26 episodes in the series. So those of you who have somehow missed the phenomenon, Hannah Montana is a story of Miley Stewart, regular teenager with a secret double life as the pop sensation Hannah Montana. The show combined comedy, heart, music, and teen drama into the highly addictive Disney Channel classic. And it also gave us some iconic characters like Miley, Lily, Oliver, and of course, Miley's dad, Robbie Ray, who is completely estranged that nobody's ever heard of before this program. So season 1 premiered in March 2006, and from the very first episode, it had me hooked. So let's go through episode by episode and kind of talk about what's been going on here. So we're gonna dive, unlike the Drake and Josh video, because of how many episodes are in this show, we're probably gonna dive into the summaries, we're gonna dive in some how well the story is crafted and how interesting the characters are and how they interact with each other. I'll give you a little bit of insight into my life and kind of how it shaped me as a growing person. So without further ado, let's get started. So every Hannah Montana episode title references a song, like Lily, Do You Want to Know a Secret is a play on the Beatles song, Do You Want to Know a Secret? Okay, Miley Stewart's best friend, Lily Truscott, buys 2 tickets to see a Hannah Montana concert for her and Miley. Because Miley's secret is Hannah Montana, she says she can't go. Since she said no, Lily ends up going to the concert with Oliver Oaken, who is Miley and Lily's friend. So at the concert that night, Lily and Oliver end up actually sneaking into Hannah Montana's dressing room.
Get out of here right now or I'll call security! Wait, no, I'm sorry! I was just looking for a souvenir! My name's Lily Truscott, and I'm a huge fan.
When she finds out that Miley is Hannah Montana,
Aren't you gonna get that?
No. I'm talking to you. That would be rude.
Miley then explains to her why she did not tell her and then shows her the Hannah closet. However, when Lily tries to convince Miley she should tell her secret at school, Miley thinks it's a terrible idea. And that kind of gets them into a big fight.
Everything I was afraid that would happen, happened.
So every Hannah Montana episode, Jackson's line of when you get it, flaunt it, references a song from the musical The Producers. Fermain is based on Frank Egelhofer, Martin Short's character in the movie Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride Part 2. And then Amber and Ashley, the popular girls in the episode, signature catchphrase, oh, tss, is a reference to a Disney cartoon, Recess, where the clique of the Mean Girls, called the Ashleys, would say, ooh, scandalous.
You're pathetic. Ooh.
So episode 2, Miley Get Your Gum, and the episode title's a play on the song Annie Get Your Gun by Squeeze, is basically Lily knows Miley's secret and Oliver still doesn't, which he tells her that he loves Hannah.
Deep down, maybe, just maybe, you feel the same way.
Miley and Lily actually try to get him to turn his attention to other girls because Miley is worried that if she told him the truth, he'd be in love with her too. So the girls come up with a plan to get him to hate Hannah. Oliver and Hannah meet at the Malibu beach and she chews gum because she knows he hates it.
I totally understand if you want to transfer your obsession to Mandy Moore. You know, she's blonde again.
No. My love is bigger than my disgust. And
Even Oliver's fear wouldn't stop him from loving Hannah, so in a last-ditch effort, Hannah ends up chewing black licorice gum, even so far as blowing a large bubble which pops in his face, which is kind of gross, up his feelings, and in desperation, Miley pulls off the wig and shows him her identity. Oliver faints in shock. When he wakes up, he accepts Miley's secret and wants to be just friends, which is exactly everything everybody wanted at the beginning. And then we go back to the subplot, which is Jackson accidentally buying a girl a car and he tries to get Robbie to get rid of it, which is a weird subplot.
Ooh, got a new car. You know, my wife, she had a car just like this. Traded it in. She thought it was too girly.
And something weird in this episode is Lily mentions having a brother when she says, "You'll learn to love him like I do with my brother's pet hamster." But in Would I Lie to You, Lily, the first episode, she says, "Sometimes I wish I had a brother, and when I come over here, all better." I don't know if he's moved out or been estranged. Lily creates an alter ego of her own, Lily LaFonda, to help keep Miley's secret, or Miley's Hannah Montana identity a secret. And then in this episode, Lola says her name is Lola LaFonda, but in later episodes, she actually refixes it to Lola Luftnagel. Strangely, this episode was filmed with her saying Luftnagel, but it was dubbed over LaFonda, suggesting that the name change was Luftnagel. I don't know, which is, the closed captioning keeps saying Luftnagel. And then Hannah's wig actually has changed to a more realistic looking one since the pilot episode. And this is definitely the first episode to open with the song that was not premiered as a music video, as This Is the Life and Best of Both Worlds was already released with music videos before the series release. And then we know that Oliver has a crush on Hannah for 2 years. To make Miley's mouth turn black, Miley Cyrus apparently chewed gum that is tasteless but leaves a black stain on the mouth for at least like 30 minutes. But since the gum wasn't staining her lips enough, they had an artist like put black lipstick for further drippage. Oliver is known at school as the locker man because he can get any locker open, which never comes back. And then this was the first episode that aired on ABC Kids on September 9th, 2006. Okay, now the third episode is She's a Super Sneak. And then the episode is a title that references the Rick James song Super Freak. So Miley and Jackson both want to see the latest Ashton Kutcher film, but have to study while Robbie Ray goes out for a business meeting. And then after what seems like a long time of studying, which was actually 15 minutes, Miley and Jackson both sneak out separately. Miley meets up with Lily and Oliver, while Jackson meets up with some guy named Christopher. In the process of trying to appear to be friends with Ashton Kutcher, Miley and Jackson meet up. When Jackson spots Robbie Ray at the theater as well, everybody takes cover behind a cardboard cutout advertisement for a different movie.
Lily? Miley?
As Miley and Jackson watch Robbie Ray stay out of sight, Robbie Ray calls them to check up on them, but after nearly blowing their cover, they say they're at home studying.
Where we are, home.
Sweet home.
Home.
It's revealed Robbie Ray is not at a business meeting and on a date. Miley's upset because they think the dad is going to replace their mom, who died 3 years previously, and with somebody who he hasn't told his kids about. Jackson finds out that the woman is a real estate agent named Margot Diamond, played by Lindsay Stewart. To learn more about Margot, Miley dresses up as Hannah and has Jackson pretend to be her chauffeur at a real estate agency where Margot works. Hannah pretends she is interested in buying a house and trying to find out more about Margot, but the manner that Miley and Jackson investigate Margot is very awkward and intrusive, with them rummaging all over Margot's desk, and Robbie Ray arrives, which is why Miley and Jackson hide in a closet. So Margot tells Robbie Ray that Hannah Montana's in the closet, and he realizes that Miley and Jackson are there. After Margot leaves the room, remarking Hannah's eccentric behavior, Jackson and Miley come on out.
Dad, what a relief. You'd never believe how lost I was. Would it help if I said I was happy for you?
Miley walks away angry at Robbie Ray, and later Robbie hears Miley playing the guitar, singing I Miss You about her mother. He apologizes and talk about how much they miss her, and they're hugging, which is a really wholesome episode. In this episode, Robbie reveals that Jackson doesn't have a job. Jackson takes change from the counter, and Jackson actually starts to work at Rico's the next episode. The cardboard cutout Miley and Jackson hide behind is for a fictional movie, The Adventure of Little Miss Red Shoes, which is a parody of Little Miss Sunshine. Even though all the songs that Hannah Montana sings are on Hannah Montana soundtracks, the song Miley sings in this episode, I Miss You, does not. Instead, it actually appears on the album Meet Miley Cyrus, which is on the second disc of Hannah Montana 2, Meet Miley Cyrus, which is such a good album, and all Miley songs are just as good too. According to Jackson, it's been at least 3 years since Miley's mom died, and unlike his sister, Jackson seems okay with the idea of her dad dating. Later on, Miley actually wants her father to marry somebody else, and Lily's mom has it going on. So the next episode's called I Can't Make You Love Hannah If You Don't, the 4th episode of the 1st season. So Miley Stewart has a crush on Josh, 9th grader, who's reluctant to ask him out until Lily actually persuades her to talk to him. And then Miley goes to talk to him since she looks foolish after a hasty exit. Josh calls her house and invites her on a date.
Sorry, Josh. She's in the bathroom. Could be a while.
And when Josh comes to the house later, he gets off to a poor start with her dad. And then when Miley intervenes, like, they learn that Josh actually hates Hannah Montana. Miley tries to get him to like Hannah because she feels that she can't date somebody who only likes half of her, although he doesn't really know she's Hannah, but she has no luck. He later tells her that she's decided to give Hannah a chance and takes Miley to a Hannah Montana concert. Miley is obviously alarmed and decides to go through with it by secretly alternating between Miley in the audience and Hannah on stage. This is one of the episodes that came on ABC Family, and I actually saw it before I had Disney Channel. I remember this episode very well. So Miley tries to hint at Josh to make Josh like Hannah more, such as she has hopes that she is not a diva, but Josh says he's more into hip hop, and Miley tries rapping, which is uncomfortable, and later says that Hannah should have body surfed in the crowd, which she ends up doing. So it's basically this thing of her trying to prove herself. And then in the subplot, Jackson, who starts working at Rico's by the beach, meets a girl that really wants to date him, but it happens to be Cooper's younger sister, Olivia. Cooper thinks that she needs to be protected and would never agree to date Jackson. But ignoring her brother, Olivia goes to Jackson's house to start a party, and then Cooper shows up, so she hides outside. Jackson convinces Cooper to leave by pretending to have a cough, but wants Olivia to leave too because he doesn't want to betray their friendship. Olivia leans in to give Jackson a goodnight kiss, but Cooper walks back in the house to get DVDs he left. And then he's angry and tells Olivia to get in the car, and he's really disappointed with Jackson, but finds out that what his sister's really like when she makes out with the pizza delivery guy. The credits of the episode features Oliver, Lily, and Jackson lip-syncing to the Hannah Montana song Best of Both Worlds, which is kind of cool. The lyric theater from Spider-Man 2 is shown. Computers were used to edit out the title, but it's definitely that one. And then the movie theater is the same that appeared in the Drake and Josh episode, Megan's New Boyfriend, which is funny. Okay, then we got episode 5, It's My Party and I'll Lie If I Want to. This is the 5th episode of Hannah Montana, and the title of the episode is a reference to the 1963 song, It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want to by Leslie Gore. So Miley takes Lily as Lola backstage at the concert, but Lily starts to embarrass Miley in front of her celebrity friends like Tracy Von Horn. Tracy refuses to accept her due to Lily's outrageous behavior, and Lily is not really adjusting to the celebrity life like Miley has. So Miley tries to stop Lily when she follows Gwen Stefani to the bathroom and asks her to sign her protective seat cover, but can't because she has to go to sing on stage. When Miley receives a phone call to Kelly Clarkson's party, Lily gets excited, but Miley ends up lying to her to say that the party is canceled. So then at the party, Miley ends up not having fun due to the absence of Lily.
Oh, what's that? Oh, that's just Jackson playing his stereo too loud. Jackson, turn it down! I'm studying, fool!
And as the photographer takes her photo, Miley freaks out because she did not want Lily to see her at the party. So then she jumps on the photographer's back, trying to grab the camera, stop the pictures, and of course the next day Miley sees the picture of herself on the photographer's back on the front page of the newspaper and spends all day trying to make sure Lily doesn't see it. Eventually, Lily comes around to Miley's house, so Miley hides all the newspapers. When trying to stop Lily from reading the paper, she stalls by talking. And then Lily eventually finds out, so Miley confesses everything and is forgiven. When Lily is Lola, goes to another party with Miley, Tracy sees her and won't accept her. So Hannah tells Tracy she doesn't accept Lola, she'll have to tell everybody that Tracy sneezed on the Olsen twins. In the subplot, Jackson is persuaded to lend his hair to a pretty girl, Nina, studying at beauty school, but finds out that the plot of Rico's when they make him bald, and for revenge, Jackson manages to have the girl cut Rico's hair, making him bald too. In this episode, Lola's last name, LaFonda, is changed to Lufnagel for all extra episodes. According to season 3 episode Ready, Set, Don't Drive, this episode takes place on November 4th, 2006. And according to Keeping Secrets, one of the several novels based on episodes of Hannah Montana, Tracy Von Horn's father is Hannah's record producer. Okay, then we got Grandmas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Play Favorites. The title of the episode is a reference to Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys by Willie Nelson and Waylon Jeggings. So Miley's grandma, Meemaw Ruthie, and she really favors Jackson, virtually ignoring Miley. And even when Jackson gets a special gift for his upcoming volleyball tournament. Miley gets the disgusting airplane headphones, old man hair and all. And then Miley is scheduled to perform for the Queen of England and her grandmother, but the Queen runs late, forcing the family to wait. But Jackson, who has a volleyball match, says he can't be late for it. So Meemaw goes find the Queen to get her to hurry up, which Miley gets angry at Jackson, saying like, Mama is all about you, which Jackson retorts saying it's never about him and it's always about Miley, no matter what he does. So Miley, hurt, asks Mama why she likes Jackson better, to which Mama explains that she doesn't like Jackson better, but is giving him special attention because Hannah always gets all the attention, making him feel invisible. So then she ditches the hotel to attend Jackson's volleyball game, and Hannah, feeling bad, speeds up the royal performance so she too can give Jackson the spotlight. And then at the volleyball game, Jackson's partner had the flu, so Mama plays volleyball as Jackson's partner, which is really funny. Even though Jackson, with Mama's help, wins the game, Hannah gets all the attention again by being spot underneath the rafters. And after the game, Miley comes back and apologizes about the attention focused on her instead of him, and he accepts her apology. The episode ends with Mama and the Queen playing Dance Dance Revolution during the credits. It's a Mannequins World, and the title is a reference to the James Brown song, It's a Man's World. Miley's dad, Robbie, is shopping for her birthday, but Miley ends up hating everything he buys her. So she tells Lily and explains the birthday presents he gave her years ago, which included a flowery dress, and they reveal that Miley purposely spilled stuff on the dress so she would never have to wear it again. Lily understands, and Miley convinces her to go to the mall with her dad to pick out something cute for her. Miley and Lily go to the mall, and Lily runs over to Robbie Ray, asking him casual questions about Miley's gift, and then Miley hides the clothing and watches from afar. Robbie Ray picks out numerous outfits and asks Lily about them. Lily turns to Miley, watches her reaction, then gives her the answer. It's a really funny montage, and everything's going fine until the rude sales clerk says,
Hi. Hi. Just looking.
Tells Miley to buy something or get lost, and to which she secretly leaves, but really changes into Hannah Montana in the store and pretends to be a mannequin. Kind of an iconic moment. Then at Miley's party, she receives a gift from Lily, which is the black purse, and she says, we'll go with the jacket. She eagerly waits her dad's gift, and then finds out that it's a frumpy sweater instead of what she thought. So the sweater's a kitten face on the front that meows when it's squeezed, and he explains that he did find a jacket she might like, but she would like this better. Miley's appalled after he asks her to put the sweater on, dreading to be seen with this. So they go to a party, and Lily and Oliver actually try to help cover up the sweater, but is eventually revealed to partygoers like Amber and Ashley, who make a huge deal out of it, try to take pictures in it. Miley tells them off, says she knows how stupid the sweater, but she doesn't realize that Robbie is standing there and hears everything. So Miley takes everything she said and says the sweater is the best thing she's ever gotten for her birthday, and even calls the cat Mittens, to which Robbie says she didn't have to do that, and he should have just bought her the jacket. But Miley tells him it's okay, and they both hug, and the show kind of ends with Miley and Oliver, who has the same sweater, except with a dog on it, playing Jingle Bells with the sweaters. In the subplot, Jackson's actually in charge of the cake for Miley's party, but every cake he looks after is destroyed, so he complains to his friends. So he complains to his friend Cooper, who actually secretly loves to bake and offers to bake instead, and Jackson agrees. So they bring the cake to Miley's party, but it's ruined when Ashley and Amber are drenched with icing. Robbie and Hannah's bodyguard Roxy actually dash forward to take pictures of the girl, taking pictures of the girl to agree to get Amber and Ashley to agree that they don't keep the pictures they took of Miley with the sweater on. And after seeing the tacky dresses Miley's dad got her, Lily says she needs a fashion magazine, and then Miley points to the magazine cover that says Trish Chic, which is the same magazine Raven was reading when she was pretending to be sick in the That's So Raven episode, Leave It to Diva. Miley's little sister, Noah Cyrus, actually plays the little girl and that tugs on the fake Hannah Montana mannequin, and Noah used to be used for a lot of little girl extras in Hannah Montana. This episode the date is released on the same date as the DreamWorks movie Over the Hedge is being released as well. In the episode, Miley says she's going to be turning 14, but in the pilot episode, the announcer says 14-year-old pop sensation Hannah Montana. So in reality, this would be her 15th birthday, not her 14th, unless to throw off suspicion of Herb and Miley being the same person, which kind of works. So it feels like a lot of season 1 is really good at developing the characters, especially their flaws. Like, Jackson seems to be a womanizer that is, like, slowly, like, that starts out to be pretty ashamed of Miley and, you know, consistently going to his job or other places to kind of build his own life. And then we learn through Mama that there's actually a little bit of a resentment there, which is so interesting, and that it kind of explains why he is the way he is. And Miley, who's somebody that is trying to kind of like balance her ego with like the things she can get away with, is exposed to a lot of moments where she needs to be humbled, like Lily being at the party and the photographer. Oh, and then when she like just expects Jackson to drop everything to attend to her. The cool thing about Miley is like starting out as a celebrity and keeping it a secret. Obviously she could be a little bit more selfish, but now that people are starting to see her secret, she needs to, you know, like she's opening up a lot more. She's learning how to let people into her life more than just the secret. And that's including people that already even knew. Like, for example, like Robbie starts out as this really cautionary dad, and he's really good at like being caring and there for her, but then also like, you know, a lot of conflicts rise between her and him. And we see a lot of sides of Robbie that shows that he just wants to be closer to his daughter. And Miley is able to recognize this a lot, and she seems to learn from everybody around her. Maybe like the world doesn't revolve around her, which is such a great topic for a coming of age type show like Hannah Montana, where it seems like the big deal is that she's a pop star celebrity, but really she's just a teenage girl turning 13, 14 years old, which is normal. Like, that's the age when you start to actually let other people into your life and start taking accountability and responsibility for how others are treated around you. And just because she's a celebrity doesn't mean she's discluded from all that. And the thing that makes Miley so likable is that she genuinely does learn at the end of every episode, which is super important. And we get, and so far, like 7 episodes in, and it just feels like it's really nice to see them be flawed, but also still super likable, and a lot of the jokes are super funny. Okay, next we got Mascot Love, which is episode 8. And the title is a reference to the Captain and Tennille song, Muskrat Love. Miley thinks that she and Lily should try out for cheerleading so they could spend more quality time together, since Miley's always at rehearsals, sound checks, whatever. Miley coaches Lily into cheerleading so Lily can make the team, but she's really bad. And then at the tryouts, she's scared Lily won't make the team. And then she ends up doing her own skateboard stunts, which is kind of cool. And then Lily gets on the team, but Miley doesn't, which is made, and then Miley's made as the mascot Pirate Pete.
Arg!
And then she becomes jealous of Lily because she didn't want to be on the team and she did. And then Miley has to ride a pink tricycle. So then during the game, Miley gets fired as the mascot for getting in a fight with another mascot, and Lily just leaves Miley by herself because she likes cheerleading now. So Miley learns her lesson that she'll be happy with Lily and support her, because Lily always does the same for Miley in her Hannah Montana concerts. So Miley does not go to the Rolling Stones concert and instead goes to the mall to spend quality time with Lily. And in the end, Oliver ends up as the mascot and is actually pretty good at it, but smells terrible. And then the cheerleaders run away from him. In the subplot, Robbie pays Jackson to fix the sink and garbage disposal, and after some time they call a plumber, and he tells Robbie that Jackson actually saved the house from being flooded, so Robbie congratulates Jackson. The scene where Miley comes home and says the mask is following her is a reference to The Mask, in which the movie Jim Carrey is also trying to get rid of a mask, but is unable to because it keeps coming back to him. And then it's also funny because Miley always wanted to be a mascot, that she revealed during the Disney Channel Games of 2006. And in real life, Miley's favorite sport is cheerleading, and she revealed this on the Hannah Montana 2-disc special edition soundtrack. Now we got episode 9, Ooh Ooh Itchy Woman. The title is a reference to the Eagles song, Witchy Woman. Mr. Picker announces that they will be going on a class trip with Miley, Lily, Amber, and Ashley will be sharing a tent. So Miley tries to get out of it, but it ends up not working. And Oliver is upset because he has to spend the night with Donnie, who is a boy that likes to make fun of him. So then when they all get to the campsite, Amber and Ashley are complaining about the lack of modern amenities and like coffee shops, which is so LA. Miley and Lily get started on setting up their tent. Lily is drawn away, and when she returns, Miley is with the tent. We see Miley already sets it up, completes with freshly picked flowers. She credits her upbringing in Tennessee as her tent raising skills. When Miley tries to settle Donnie's constant teasing, Amber and Ashley take credit for setting up the tent just because they happen to be standing there when Mr. Picker was checking Miley's tent. So the teacher makes Miley and Lily apologize to Amber and Ashley, calling them lying little nasties. Amber and Ashley accidentally knock over the plate, somehow escaping punishment from the teacher. And then Miley, Lily, and Oliver plan a scheme to scare Amber and Ashley because Oliver wants a reason out of a tent. So Oliver pretends he's a ferocious bear, and Miley and Lily have to save Amber and Ashley. So Amber and Ashley actually run out and flee to the portable toilet, which flips over and is gross. Amber, Ashley, and Donnie inside with all the contestants over them. Ew. When Miley, as Hannah, goes as an interview, Oliver calls and tells her the bush they were standing on was poison oak, and she itches as she's being interviewed and gets embarrassed on national television as karma for what she did. And in the subplot, Robbie and Jackson catch a mouse, Linda. Little do they know that the mouse can actually play the piano quite well and is killing the mouse. And capturing and killing the mouse would be a terrible crime.
Son, you don't kill a mouse with that kind of talent. Linda, you know achy breaky heart?
It feels like all the subplots with Jackson and Robbie are just like mundane activities of them trying to get it done as like a comedy duo, which is kind of random. Okay, then we got episode 10, Oh Say Can You Remember the Words? Oh Say Can You Remember These Words? I think it refers to the lyrics in the Star Spangled Banner poem. Or song, I guess. Miley, Lily, and Oliver are in drama class doing exercises when the teacher announces they'll be doing Romeo and Juliet, which Miley and Lily are reluctant to do with Oliver as their partner. But Miley ends up with Oliver, they start working on the play, and Oliver can't focus, making silly jokes. Miley finds out that due to an experience a long time ago, Oliver can't really be serious in front of an audience, so she gets mad that he's never serious and tells her father that she will bail on him just as Oliver is coming into the house. So Oliver gets his feelings hurt. Later at the game, Miley sings Star Spangled Banner, but she's so distracted by her fight with Oliver, she accidentally sings Shakespeare. She's nationally embarrassed again, and now too scared to perform out of fear that she will forget the words again. Lily tries to convince Oliver to come support Miley when she goes to the show called Top Rockers, but Oliver obviously doesn't want to because he's still mad. So in her dressing room, Miley's scared that she'll forget the words to her song, despite her dad saying she'll do fine. But she's sweating under the Hannah Montana wig. And then Lily, coming as Lola, brings cue cards with lyrics on them just in case. But these lyrics also get jumpy as she starts to dance to the song that Hannah is singing and blocked by many different people. So then Hannah ends up messing up the song, to which Oliver actually starts singing along, and so does everyone else. So Miley remembers the lyrics, which in the end, Oliver comes through and Miley apologizes. It's cool that we finally get a second episode of Oliver where he's actually just not being goofy. It's nice to know that like even the goofy characters have like a really... In the subplot, Jackson actually has to cure Rico's candy habit after a bad trip to the dentist, and it soon becomes his own obsession, and he becomes more addicted to candy than Rico was. So then Jackson has a dream that he will eventually get fat and Rico will get strong. So Jackson wakes up, tries to stop eating junk food, and then while at the sister's concert, he starts eating carrots and has a hallucination that the pillows are talking couch bunnies. Don't know what he learned. A really deep-seated problem that wants to get solved. And we gotta credit Hannah Montana thus far for not doing too many repetitive storylines. Like they somehow managed to either get it to be about Miley and one other character, and then somehow still weaving the Hannah Montana pop star persona into it, which is so cool. And I love that her issues are nationally recognized, so when she makes a mistake, it's actually like 10 times worse, which we end up seeing a lot later in 2024 when cancel culture and online social media ends up being at the forefront of things anyway. This is kind of what I see as iCarly before iCarly, where fame was something that teenagers are drawn to, and the idea that like fame isn't all it's cracked up to be is such an interesting storyline because it really affects Miley's life to an extent that if she she makes so many mistakes and really has to be humbled in order to like make up for what she found out. And it's cool because in Hannah Montana, that's fun because as a viewer, it's really nice to see somebody mess up and know that like you don't have to make that mistake too, as opposed to in the current climate where there are 14-year-olds all over internet, there are 15-year-old pop sensations, and it's normal, which we never thought would be a thing. And now it seems like they also get the same treatment as Miley, but in the world it's like a lot more scary. You know, like somebody says the wrong thing or does the wrong thing, and like Hannah, they get nationally ridiculed for it, and it stinks because the reality of it is in real life that stuff follows you, as opposed to like when Hannah is in these situations, like it kind of ends at the end of the episode, but the reality of this situation is kind of dark. Okay, episode 11, Oops, I Meddled Again. So the title of the episode is based on the Britney Spears song, Oops, I Did It Again. Miley checks her Hannah Montana fan mail, and she received an email from a girl, Becca Weller, that Miley finds out is in her homeroom. And she has a crush on Oliver, and wants his attention. So basically, Lily tells Oliver this, and Oliver asks Becca if she'll go out with him. So Becca agrees, going on a date, and afterwards, Oliver tells Miley and Lily that he kissed Becca and really likes her. Then Hannah gets an email that says that Becca's gonna break up with the boy he really likes. Whew! So Miley and Lily thinks it's Oliver, so they tell him, and Oliver gets mad at Miley for being the cause of this relationship in the first place, but eventually forgives her and is about to break up with Becca himself. That's when Miley and Lily find out that she was actually going to break up with her old boyfriend. Miley flies over them with a parasol in a chicken costume, which Jackson was wearing because of Rico and Oliver. And he tells Oliver not to break up with Becca, which is kind of an absurd way to deliver that news. Miley tells Becca that Miley did it because she was in love with him, and that Becca wouldn't find out that she knew about the impending breakup because,
Well, all that's left to say is, book, bye-bye!
she was really Hannah Montana, which Becca's not thrilled about. So she tells Becca and Oliver they're perfect for each other and gives up on Oliver. So in the subplot, Jackson is forced to wear chicken soup, promoting the spicy chicken wings for Rico, and later gets tumbled on by teens. This episode actually has been played out of order because Miley's father, Robbie, is writing a new song called The Other Side of Me, and it had already been sung by Hannah several times in previous episodes, which means the episode must have taken place before I Can't Make You Love Hannah If You Don't, which is going to come later. The same picture of Hannah Montana in Becca's locker was used in Oliver's locker in Miley Get Your Gum, and you could see Becca wearing a lavender-colored Hannah Montana shirt. The originally intended part of the episode was Jackson does the chicken dance to promote the chicken wings instead of singing the song, and I guess that got changed somewhere along the line. Okay, then we got On the Road Again. So On the Road Again is the 12th episode of the first season of, and the title refers to the Willie Nelson song On the Road Again, Hannah Montana, which is the crossover between The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I don't know about you guys, but this is kind of crazy. Hannah Montana, you know, now we know that it's a really popular show and has done really well, but this was the first season, episode 12 of Hannah Montana, that they had a crossover episode. I wonder, like, what would have happened if this didn't go super well. I mean, I'm sure nothing would have changed, but it's so interesting to think that Hannah Montana was, like, featured in a crossover way before it got popular. And then, of course, later, in the third season, I believe, they go back to another crossover. But this is really cool.
I couldn't live with myself if I knew I was the person holding Robbie Ray back from howling again. Wow. Well, it's nice meeting you.
I gotta admit, though, I was very disappointed in the crossover segment of Hannah Montana, because it feels like That's So Raven and Sweet Life is very carefully integrated into one another, but Hannah feels like kind of like a, you know, like it seems to be more of an episode of Hannah Montana than it is necessarily about the other two shows being involved at all, including like her barely talking to Raven. I mean, overall it was still a new show, so it's funny to think about. I don't know, it was kind of annoying at the time. But yeah, so when Miley stays at the Tipton in Boston, she meets Maddie Fitzpatrick, listens to Robbie sing Honky Tonk Heartthrob, which apparently he used to sing to her and her mother when they were Robbie Ray fans. So then Miley starts to talk to her father about his dreams and basically is convinced he gave up on them and he should probably get back to the stage life. So she actually recruits his former manager to get him back on the road.
A man and his children sharing a heartfelt goodbye. You know what it reminds me of? The fact that my car is running and gas is $3 a gallon, let's...
So Robbie goes on the road to San Diego with Roxy, taking care of Jackson and Miley, but Roxy is super overprotective and will not let the children go out of her sight, and even ties them along with her while she's asleep. So Jackson gets fed up and goes to San Diego, followed by Miley and Roxy. Billy Ray Cyrus as Robbie Ray sings I Want My Mullet Back, but upon seeing his father perform and going on tour with Toby Keith, Jackson changes his mind. So he reveals at the end that he didn't give up the dream because he had to, he did because he wanted to, and he wanted to spend time with his family and focus on being a good father to his kids. So at the end of the episode, Miley and Robbie perform together I Want My Mullet Back, complete with mullet wigs, and Jackson also wearing a mullet, doing an underarm trumpet, and yeah, it's just really funny. While there's no concrete information, it could be assumed that this episode was tacked on to the last minute of That's So Sweet Life, because Ashley Tisdale, being the only actress from either of the previous shows to be in the crossover at the beginning and end, referred to as that girl from Boston in the episode, is, I don't know, one can conclude that I would just assume that it was tacked on last minute and then changed after the end of the latter episodes when Hannah Montana was officially greenlit, which explains why her scene was so short. Okay, we're gonna tackle the last episode. So now we're at the halfway mark of the Hannah Montana season 1, and I just want to see how you guys are feeling. I just want to give a special shout out to Roxy, because I forgot how integral she is to the development of the show. Like, she is so funny, and it is so... she does such a good job at playing this part. I love how we're only halfway through the season, and we have so much empathy for Hannah. There's so much richness in this show, and like, I can tell from this very beginning that this... I mean, I should have known that this is already going to be one of the best shows. Like, you never really appreciate shows until it's like way later, but it's very clear that this show was so impressive. When I was little, I used to have the DVD of this show, and this was one of the only Disney shows to have released their complete first season on DVD. And I gotta tell you, I've watched the show over and over and over again. I don't know what about it is so interesting to me. So we're gonna cut this video off at episode 13 because I definitely don't think I could fit this all into one part right now. Maybe later I'll put the compilation together. But as of now, we're gonna finish off with this episode, and then I'm gonna release another video soon. Season 1, episode 13, You Were So Vain. You probably think this is about you. The title of the episode is a reference to Carly Simon's song, You're So Vain, from 1972. The lyrics are, you're so vain, you probably think this song is about you. So Hannah models her perfect skin for a Magic Glows It cream ad, and Lily loses her contacts and has to wear dorky glasses. Miley gives her advice that looks don't matter, and when Lily gets discouraged, okay. So then they get a billboard where a zit is painted on Miley's forehead by Liza the photographer, and Miley pretends it doesn't bother her to convince Lily that she should still compete in her half-pipe finals and beat Heather, who has beaten Lily every year, but it really does bother Miley, so she pays Jackson to return with her, hold the paint can of beige, and color over the zit. Hannah unveils the billboard through the public, and Lily sees that it's painted over and got mad, so she lied, and tells everybody that looks don't matter, and the bird poops on her shoulder. In the subplot, Jackson has to be Rico's assistant in a fake magic show, only to put a dress on and have Rico crack an egg on his head. But because Jackson isn't sure Rico's dad is going to give him a raise, so Jackson finds out that he was going to get a raise anyway and decides to get some revenge by dumping seaweed on Rico's head. But then the girl he was dating comes down to see him, and Rico pretends he's just an innocent little boy, and the girl who Jackson is dating dumps him. And then in season 3, Ready, Set, Don't Drive, the episode takes place. And then there's actually a novel based off this called Face Off. And so the Hannah Montana novel Face Off is actually based on this episode. Jackson's outfit was a gold dress and white gloves. And in the book, Rico had a magic wand, and Jackson was bribed into a small cage for the disappearing Tina trick. Rico also sent Jackson in the cage away to the San Diego Zoo in the book. Welcome back, everybody, to Hannah Montana Season 1 Retrospective. I'm Johnny 2000, and it's time to finally dive into the episodes 14 to 16 of Hannah Montana Season 1. Last video we went through the first 13 episodes and I had so much fun. And so now I'm about to tell you about how wacky this is about to get. So sit down and let's get started. Okay, episode 14 is New Kid in School, and the title is a reference to the Eagles song New Kid in Town, which is the 14th episode of the first season. So Jake Ryan, handsomely famous TV star, is transferring to Miley and Lily's school.
Calm down. Even though Jake's a big TV star, here he's just another student who totally destroys zombies!
As soon as he arrives, reporters talking about filming a documentary about his new school life and recording everybody. And then Miley sees beyond his handsome face and sees him as this...
I want each and every one of you to think of me as someone just like you. Really? Well, try, okay?
Big-headed, annoying guy because he's showing off his superstardom, something that she has never done. Miley becomes jealous because she's Hannah and Jake's getting all the attention and is treated better because of it. Lily and Oliver tell Miley that if she tells everybody she's Hannah, she could get all the respect and extra things that Jake got. So due to anger and stress, Miley tells the reporter that she's Hannah Montana, but the reporter doesn't even believe her. So Miley tells the reporter her address so Miley can prove it. However, Jake tells Miley that he likes the superstardom, and he likes Miley because she sees the real Jake, not the superstar. And Jake wishes he could turn the fame and fortune off because it could get annoying.
God, I guess my disguise didn't work.
Wow, shocker.
Come on! Do the line! Do the line! I would, but I'm kind of... Do the line!
Which makes her realize what she has. At this point, Jake's swept up with his fans, and Miley realizes she made the mistake telling the reporter. When the reporter comes to her house, she just makes it seem like she made it all up to begin with, and actually has Jackson dressed as Elvis and Robbie Ray dressed as Billy Ray Cyrus.
I haven't officially introduced myself. I'm Billy Ray Cyrus.
Okay, that's it, we're out of here.
Which is kind of funny. The reporter then leaves thinking they're crazy, and Miley decides she's not going to tell anybody she's Hannah. She's going to be extra sure it's the right decision. Meanwhile, in the subplot, Jackson gets a new car, and he's about to go on a date, but when he starts the car, battery dies, and Jackson convinces Robbie to let him take the new car, which is much better, and Robbie ends up taking Jackson's car battery to replace and rips off the car door. So he tries to hide it, and he forgives all of Jackson's mistakes, but Jackson actually finds out that Robbie... This is like one of the first times Uncle Earl was also mentioned. This is also the first appearance of Jake Ryan, who is going to be coming back a little bit recurringly in this season. And this is the third time Miley has, quote-unquote, revealed her secret to a person. First Lily, then Oliver. And the third one is the reporter, although she did end up not getting it released. This is actually the first episode that Miley gets jealous of something somebody else has. Like, usually she's the superstar, so she doesn't have to worry about it. But it's really interesting to see her look at Jake Ryan as this is kind of like the alter ego that she's projecting a lot onto him, and it's very interesting. So then we got 15, which is More Than a Zombie to Me. The episode title is a reference to the Bee Gees song, More Than a Woman to Me.
It's disgusting. Oh, come on. If he asked you to the dance, are you telling me you wouldn't say yes?
Yes?
Yes, you'd say no, or yes, you'd say yes?
No, yes, I'd say no.
Where Jake Ryan actually asks Miley to the school dance. So Miley refuses because Hannah's on the show Zombie High, which Miley happens to be also on as Hannah Montana. And Miley doesn't want to kiss Jake and asks the director if she can kiss the demon dog instead.
Do I really have to kiss that zombie slayer?
Since the divine prophecy states that only by reawakening the cold, dead heart of the princess can the Slayer rout the forces of darkness and save the world from ultimate destruction, I'm gonna have to say yes, you do.
But then she soon finds out that Jake actually really does like her, not just Jake Ryan the celebrity. And Miley realizes she might also like Jake too, so she wants to do the kissing scene. But the director now does want her to kiss the demon dog as requested. She tries to tell Lily she likes Jake and wants to go to the dance with him now. But while she's attempting to do so, Jake comes up and asks Lily to the dance instead, ignoring Miley's protests. So Miley tells Lily that she does like Jake, but Lily decides to go to the dance with him anyway, so they get in a huge fight. Miley comes to the dance in a tight red dress to get Jake to notice her, which is weird for a kid's show.
Hey y'all, what's up?
Whoa.
What are you doing? You're supposed to be at a 70 dance, not turning letters on a game show.
To be honest, if I were Miley, I would be careful trying to anger Lily, especially given the fact she knows the secret. For a kid's show, Lily and Miley end up getting in a big fight over Jake on the dance floor, which leaves Lily in tears and Miley feeling horrible, yet Jake obviously feels this is normal and loves it. They make up while cleaning in the bathroom and both end up dancing with each other instead of Jake. And then meanwhile, Jackson and Robbie engage in a war, which involves Jackson falling into the Punji pit. And in the end of the episode, they're sitting on the couch, at this point heavily suspicious of movement when somebody rings the doorbell. They both think it's like a prank, so they end up not letting in this guy with a $10 million check.
Oh no, man, I'm not getting it.
Neither am I. Let the monkey get it.
Well, maybe there's a $10 million winner at the next house. Come on, guys!
And during the filming of Zombie High, wait, doesn't Zombie High exist now? Whoa, this is creepy. I did not realize that. And during the filming of Zombie High, the director makes a reference to the opening credits of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is kind of interesting. Episode 16 is Good Golly, Miss Dolly, and the title is a reference to the Little Richard song, Good Golly, Miss Molly. We got another grandma episode, which is going to be exciting. So Miley's godmother, Aunt Dolly, visits the Stewart family. Dolly Parton, if you guys aren't completely aware, she brings her video camera to film the family, but Miley accidentally tapes herself.
I'm through pretending that I don't like you when the truth is, I'm totally in love with you. Wait a minute. Is this thing on?
Professing her love for Jake. Oliver and Lily come over and Oliver accidentally takes the videotape with him, and Miley needs to get back the video camera, but unfortunately Oliver has already given Jake the tape.
Jake who?
Which is a pretty genuine mistake on Oliver's part. Like, how was he supposed to know that Miley admitted something on tape? So Miley, Lily, and Aunt Dolly try to break into the school, go to the edit office, and get the tape back before Miley gets dumped in a veggie burger, milkshake, and fries. Also, when Miley finally builds the courage to tell Jake she likes him, Jake reveals that he actually has a girlfriend, Rachel. And at the end, Miley's sitting on the couch with her dad and Aunt Dolly, and they convince Miley not to give up on Jake by singing Who Said in a version related to their conversation. This episode's really cute because I feel like Dolly Parton wasn't necessary, but it does dig a little bit into their home life, and I love seeing more of Miley's origins, especially as it's like preparing us for the movie later on. I know they didn't go in with that intention, but it really does make that movie even more better. Miley mentions that she modeled her Hannah look after Dolly, but in the episode Take This Job and Love It, Miley goes through a flashback where she got her Hannah wig, and it turns out Roxy made up Hannah's look, not Dolly. Dolly Parton appears in this episode, and she's apparently Miley Cyrus's real-life godmother. Okay, now I got torn between two Hannahs. The reference is the title is a reference to the Mary McGregor song Torn Between Two Lovers. This episode is notorious for being forgotten, but I remember it because of how often I spent watching these DVDs. This was also written by Todd J. Greenwald, who wrote a couple other episodes of this show and eventually created Wizards of Waverly Place. He's a really good writer, and I met him on LinkedIn once, but he didn't seem to like me. Miley's lookalike cousin, Luann, from visits from Texas, and Miley believes Luann is like the devil's little helper because she's once pushed her into a well.
Let's not forget who pulled you out of that well when you were just 6.
Let's not forget who pushed me in.
Hey, that was an accident. Sometimes kids do stuff without thinking.
God, stupid blonde.
So when Luann arrives, she's sweet, kind to everybody, and Hannah is invited by Tracy to a Halloween party, and Hannah's planning on going with Lola. But meanwhile, Miley has been increasingly paranoid about Luann, and they seemingly reconcile.
I think it's time that we took the past and buried it. Yeah, kind of like what we used to do with Aunt Pearl's roadkill ravioli.
Yeah, there's always gravel in mine.
Then when they go to the party, it's revealed that Luann is actually dressed as Hannah, while the real Miley is bound by ropes and gagged with Ebola. So this is a Halloween episode, also, if you didn't think that. And it's very clear that Miley Cyrus is playing Miley Cyrus, which is a really fun trope that I like to see in the 2000s. Luann desperately tries to embarrass Miley, and then Miley escapes, hurries to the party, and tries to stop Luann from quote-unquote ruining her Hannah Montana secret. When she finally convinces Lily out of the situation, she finds Luann on stage giving a speech as Hannah.
Looky here. Y'all are about to see something you never expected to see. The other side. The other side. The other side of...
And is about to take off her wig. In current times, this is really easy to do. You just go on social media and say, Miley is Hannah. Or, like, the fact that she looked so identical, she probably could have stood as Miley Stewart and said that too. So there's a lot of flaws here. When the lights go out, they pull Luann off stage, resulting in two Hannahs getting mixed up, and they're wearing identical clothing. So Luann then begins claiming that she's actually Miley, and Lily and Oliver don't actually know who the real Miley is, which is super cool. Oliver has an idea and says,
Both of you kiss me.
Okay. Ew.
That's Miley.
While Luann excitedly accepts, Miley is disgusted, which reveals which one is the right one. And in the subplot, Jackson and Robbie try to be scarier in Halloween than their neighbor, Mr. Danzig, who ends up being like the annoying neighbor that comes up recurringly in the first season, who eventually is kind of like off the show completely. But then he ends up tricking them into scaring the children away and ends up hating the family. And instead of being scary, Mr. Danzig is dressed up as Mr. Happy Pumpkin Man, and everybody loves him more.
Christmas.
Come on, kids. Let's all go back to my house, and everyone can have another ride on the pony. Yeah!
Oh, Tracy's party at Halloween is called the Hannahween Party, which is super, super funny. In addition to the fact that there was two Hannahs in this anyway. And Mitchell Musso actually stated this would be the first episode where Hannah and Oliver would be in the same scene together. However, they were in a few scenes together in Miley Get Your Gum and Oh Say Can You Remember the Words, but it would be the first time they actually had a proper conversation together as Hannah and Oliver. The episode was adapted into the book Nightmare on Hannah Street, which is a parody of Nightmare on Elm Street, and this is the first Halloween episode. Miley says that Halloween is just 2 days away, meaning the episode takes place October 29th. Miley plays 3 roles in this episode, Miley, Luann, and Hannah, which is kind of interesting. Okay, episode 18, People Who Use People. And the title refers to the song People from Funny Girl, which includes the lyrics, People Who Need People. 18th episode of the first season. When Miley finds out that Jake has a friend named Holly, Miley mistakes her as his new girlfriend. And she still has feelings for him, so she starts hanging out with a boy named Willis, who told her he's graduating in order to make Jake jealous. While on a date with Willis, Miley finds out that he's actually 11 and a half in elementary school and just tall, which is kind of creepy.
Your senior boyfriend over there?
No, that kid just looks like him.
I am King Willis!
And has the same name.
Jake later tells Miley that he and Holly are actually only together for publicity, which ends up getting them to kiss. Miley and Jake then decide to become a couple, and Jake asks if Miley is available Saturday, 4 months from now, for a date. So Jake flies off to Romania for 4 months as he's going to shoot a movie that Frankie Muniz dropped out of.
Yeah, would have been awful for you to left without planting one on me.
Exactly.
Because she's annoyed that Jake kissed her and is now leaving. Meanwhile, which honestly, relatable. Meanwhile, after learning that Miss Kunkel and Robbie get along so well at the parent convention, Jackson tries to get his teacher and Robbie Ray into a relationship so he can get an A in a classroom, which is kind of intense. But he ends up learning that it's not going to happen because...
It's great to meet you, ma'am. Let us sit and talk. Doggies, I'm on fire!
Because of his father's idea of earning the A honestly, it just doesn't work. The exterior of the bowling alley is actually the same one used in the episode of Bowling for A Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And then Miley obviously quotes, "What you talking about, Willis?" from the 1970s, 80s sitcom Different Strokes.
You said you were graduating.
I am!
Elementary school.
Okay, 19. We got Money for Nothing, Guilt for Free. 19th episode of the first season. And the title is a reference to the Dire Straits song, Money for Nothing. So in this one, Miley, Lily, Oliver, Amber, and Ashley's teacher, Mr. Corelli, sends the students off to raise money for the local fundraising program.
Okay, this has Amber and Ashley written all over it.
Actually, it has Dork and Dorkier written all over it.
That's it. They're gonna pay for this.
Wait. Was I dork or dorkier?
So Miley and Lily are against Amber and Ashley, which is a common trope in the first season that's really kind of interesting. So they're unsuccessful at raising money until they have the idea.
Now, before I start my next song, I would just like to give a shout out to a great charity called United People's Relief. So show your love and make a donation. Guys, please, paper money only, people.
Maybe Hannah Montana can do this to get a larger amount. So they feel guilty, but they end up getting so much more, and they realize another girl named Sarah, wholeheartedly devoted to charity and wanted to donate this card, which is much harder than raising money.
Worked harder than any of us, and she's the only one doing it for the right reasons.
Reasons, I want my new skateboard.
In the end, they ultimately want to give it to Sarah so she could win the contest. Sarah, however, won't accept the money from them because she's too nice, so Miley and Lily dress up as Hannah and Lily Luftnagel to give her the money. In spite of this, Ashley and Amber still win the contest because Oliver accidentally bragged to them that Sarah had more money than the fundraiser.
Okay, maybe I bragged a little about how Sarah was gonna beat them.
Button it.
So not wanting to be beaten by Sarah, Amber and Ashley quickly ask their parents to write another check. However, the victory is spoiled when Miley interrupts their interview for the local newspaper by telling the reporter that Amber and Ashley want to donate their prize to charity and will volunteer to soup kitchen during their days on and off from school, much to the horror and Sarah's delight. The picture of Amber and Ashley is taken and is displayed at school. Lily, Miley, and Oliver got their revenge. Which is, this show is really good at distributing karma effectively, I would say, which is really fun. In the subplot, Jackson believes that he's better than his dad at sports, but this changes when Cooper tells him that Robbie is letting him win. So Jackson actually has to prove to his dad that he is not letting him win, and Cooper gives Jackson some lessons in ping pong so he could beat his father. Jackson wins, but due to his gloating, he and his father become fiercely competitive over petty things, and it ends with Jackson and Robbie having a contest of who can drink and hold water the longest, when Robbie ends up winning and says, "I knew having 8 brothers and sisters with one outhouse would pay off someday," which is kind of funny. The little girl in this is also Noah Cyrus again. Since this is also the final appearance of Jackson's friend Cooper, who was like mainly here in the first season, but I'm gonna miss this guy. This is also Sarah's first appearance, and she's gonna be coming back a little bit. Okay, episode 20, Debt It Be. Robbie gives Miley and Jackson credit cards, which Miley goes to a one-day flea market and finds out she does not have enough money with her to buy the thing she wants and ends up using her credit card.
And just for you, I'll throw in this lovely belt.
Oh, thank you.
For $20 more.
Hey, you need something to hold up the skirt.
Very true.
And you know it'd look great with that skirt and the belt?
These shoes?
Really?
Unfortunately, it's only supposed to be for emergencies, but she ends up buying a lot of expensive stuff and being duped by all the stall owners, which is funny because it's like very clearly seems like she's a victim of it, but she's clearly like choosing this multiple times.
Yeah, and what they're singing, and I'm dancing, and all of a sudden, my hand cramps up, and I've got to stop the whole concert and disappoint thousands of people, or hand massager.
Miley realizes how much trouble she's gonna be and decides to return the items, get her money back, but the flea market is gone, which happens in real life a lot. With no other options, Miley asks Jackson, who is in Marlon Brando from The Godfather, to help her pay off the debt.
You made me wait 20 minutes so you could go put on some stupid costume and do a bad imitation.
You hear that, Fluffy? More disrespect.
Jackson hatches a plan to auction off Hannah's old clothes in exchange for a portion of the profit. So the siblings actually work together to cover the money to pay off Miley's debt, so she thinks that they are home free, until Robbie tells the jeweler he wants a pair of sapphire earrings that Hannah had for a music video, and apparently they accidentally gave her a real pair instead of fake ones, so when they sold it, they sold the real ones. So Miley tries to get the earrings back from the woman who bought them, Catherine McCord, who is at the senior retirement center. So she goes in dressed as Hannah, and Jackson joins as they try to persuade Catherine to sell back the earrings. But
you want to get that close, you gotta buy me dinner, sailor.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hey, you're Hannah Montana.
When she's very attached to them, Miley has to lie and said that the earrings belonged to her grandmother. And then Catherine agrees to return them, but only if Miley's grandmother appears to claim them.
Aren't you a cute young thing? Oh my, it's been a while since anybody called me that.
I hear that. Barely.
So, Nana, don't you want those earrings back that mean more to you than life itself?
For this purpose, Jackson dresses up as an old lady, Nana Montana, to trick her to giving back the earrings. Unfortunately, and it's such a funny episode. I love watching Miley and Jackson get along and or scheme together because they're so wacky and they bring out each other's like really neurotic sides. So it's really funny to watch episodes with them in it and not just Jackson being pushed off to the subplot like always. In the end, it's revealed Robbie's at the retirement home disguised as an old man himself. So it turns out he knew all along and he was trying to teach his kids a lesson with the sapphire earrings. Catherine was in on his plan and Miley apologizes to his father and she's punished with cleaning the house to pay off the credit card debt. Robbie Ray punishes Miley by ordering her to clean the garage. Miley says there's spiders in the garage because in real life, Miley Cyrus's worst fear is spiders. And she reveals this in the Hannah Montana 2-disc special edition soundtrack. And then Nana Montana is mentioned in the episode of Sunny with a Chance, Random Acts of Disrespect. Okay, now we got My Boyfriend's Jackson, and There's Gonna Be Trouble. This one is freaking wacky. So Paulie the paparazzi follows Hannah to the house, finds Hannah and Jackson together, and assumes that it's Hannah's boyfriend's house. So he takes a picture, puts it in a magazine, and they're invited to a party to be in front of the paparazzi.
So, when exactly were you two gonna tell me you were dating?
Come on, Dad, it's not funny. It's horrible.
Yeah, how could anybody believe that I would go out with someone like her?
Jackson, it would be the luckiest day of your life if you got to date Hannah Montana, and what am I saying?
And instead of saying that it's fake or it's a misunderstanding, Jackson still wants to be famous or likes the attention, so he says that they're in love. But he's becomes more and more obnoxious.
Note to self. Send Coop a nice fruit basket saying, I'm sorry, blah, 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 and throw in an autographed photo of Jack Santa.
So Hannah has to make an appearance on the show Wendy, and her plan is to break up on that show. But Jackson instead tells him he doesn't want to break up, and Hannah does it anyway.
No, I can change. Please, just give me another chance. I don't want to lose you and all the things Grunschweigen, Flog, and Watch that we have together.
Forget it. We have nothing together. Jackson, it's over.
Hannah, he's down on his knees. How can you turn him down?
But then Jackson said he's in love. He loved Hannah like a sister. And this episode's so friggin' weird, but it's so funny because it's like, of course, like this is such... You definitely go into the show being like, oh my god, what if this was going to happen? And it does in this episode, which I really love. In the subplot, Oliver and Sarah team up for a project of taking care of a flower baby, and Oliver finds out that he might be in love with Sarah, which is really crazy.
Just think, one day he could be a great humanitarian.
We're a couple dozen cupcakes.
And then later they learn that without the flower baby, they have nothing in common, which is very, very middle school. Okay, then we got We Are Family. Now get me some water. It's a reference to the Sister Sledge song, We Are Family. And if you didn't think the last episode was crossing a line, just listen to the title of this one. I can't get it out of my head. Miley tries to practice for an important award show when she has to perform as Hannah Montana, but she gets interrupted by Jackson. She tells him to go outside and drive his car far away, but he hasn't gotten enough money because Rico doesn't pay him enough money. Didn't he get a raise in the other episode? So Miley goes to the beach with Lily to convince Rico to pay Jackson more, and he says that if she dances in the competition with him, he will. So
what do you say? You wash my back, I'll wash your brother's. Okay, first, ew! And second, I think it's scratch my back. And third, ew!
This is like the first episode with Miley and Rico. I like that a lot. That if Jackson doesn't... So Miley says no, she won't dance with him, and Rico says Jackson won't get more money. So he ends up firing Jackson. So Jackson's fired. So Jackson goes to the beach to find out that he has been replaced with Oliver, and the shop sells more than ever. And Miley suggests that he could work as Hannah Montana's assistant, thinking he wouldn't accept it. But then he does.
And Montana will never use your limo company again. Good day, sir. I said good day!
Jackson, what happened?
They don't have a limo. and they're saying it's my fault because I didn't make a reservation. Can you believe that?
I know I do.
And then Miley realizes she doesn't want him to do that, so she ends up needing to fire him, but she doesn't want to because it was her fault for getting him fired the first time. So Miley's annoyed that Jackson can't do his job right. So then before she fires him, he thanks her for not firing him, even if he did something wrong, which makes her not want to do it anymore. And he bought her beautiful earrings, so I guess that's fair.
I don't even care how many paychecks it takes for me to pay him off. It's worth it. Just to know that you believe in me.
Uh-huh. I do. You betcha.
So she decides not to fire him. So then for the music video, Jackson accidentally breaks this actor's back.
I don't know. It worked when Scooby did it to Shaggy.
That's a cartoon!
No, I was talking about my cousins.
Sean can't dance, so he wants to talk to Hannah, but Jackson stops him because he doesn't want Hannah to know that he failed at this exercise. So he steps in for him and ends up being the guy, and then Hannah nearly falls off stage, ruins the performance, and Miley actually has to fire him. And then Jackson's upset because he can never get anything right, and Robbie tries to build him up by saying,
First of all, assistant ain't a word. You did great down at Rico's.
I know, and I liked it too.
Well, maybe that's why you were good at it.
So then later, Miley dances with Rico at the competition, and Jackson ends up getting his job back. And later, Lily and Oliver are seen sitting on the beach, where Oliver complains about Jackson and is disappointed he lost his job to him. This is the first episode that actually aired in 2007. And they also revealed that Miley's childhood nickname is Smiley Miley, which was the reason why Miley changed her name from Destiny Hope Cyrus to Miley Ray Cyrus. Okay, then we got School Bully. It's the 23rd episode of the first season. So there's a new girl at school, Henrietta, played by Jalen Palmer, and Miley and others call her the Cracker. So Miley bets that the new girl isn't bad and actually tries to get to know her, which is nice. I like seeing this side of Miley, that she has like genuinely good intentions despite everybody else's feelings.
I'm Miley. You know, I used to be new here too. But now I'm old here. Well, not old. Like this meatloaf. Hey, jerk.
But then, obviously, the Cracker ends up putting lipstick all over Miley's face and tying Lily and Miley's heads together using their hair. Roxy tries to help them by telling them to run, scream for the principal, but the girls refuse. So the next day, Roxy comes to school dressed as a student so she can protect Miley and Lily from the Cracker.
Why are you dressed like a kid?
Quiet, I'm trying to blend in.
What are you all looking at? I got held back a grade or two. Who's counting? Not me. That's why I got held back.
Things then get worse when Roxy won't let the girls hang out with the boys, and the next day Roxy starts dressing up like Miley, and she gives a GPS on Miley's beret so she could find her. Miley gives the beret to another girl, Jeannie, in order to throw Roxy off. Miley goes to the cafeteria to face the Cracker, but then Lily, who's supposed to be the principal part of Miley's plan, is too late, and the Cracker puts Miley in the salad bar.
I'm late, aren't I? Just a smidge.
Roxy then reveals to Miley and Lily that the reason she was being unreasonable was to get them to go to the principal themselves. And upon hearing this, Miley proceeds to chase Roxy around the school, which is really nice. It's so funny that Roxy's just this like extremely overprotective bodyguard. Like, I love that bit, and it does really well, especially the actress playing her is so funny that it's so good. Meanwhile, Jackson and Robbie Way stay at a ski lounge, and it snowed in during an avalanche, so they're forced to stay at the ski lodge with his owner and the talking dummy.
There is no snowplow.
Gunther?
No, it's Franklin. Gunther's asleep.
What's happening?
At the end, Jackson uses his dummy to lip sync a Hannah Montana song. Well, now we got the idol side of me. So it's the 24th episode. We're getting toward the tail end of this season. The TV show Singing with the Stars is set up to see who can sing the best, and the winner gets to perform with Hannah Montana. So at school, Amber and Ashley's new popularity list places Miley and Hannah in last place with Dandruff Danny.
How far down do they put us this year?
Keep going. Keep going. Just skip to the last page.
Oh, we're tied for dead last with Dandruff Danny.
Is someone actually talking to me?
And as a result, Oliver starts to try to avoid being seen with them. Miley thinks Amber's a bad singer, so she tries to embarrass her by getting her on the show, but it turns out she's actually that Ashley is a bad singer, not Amber.
she?
Her voice.
You said.
I know. But now.
So Lola makes a trap for Amber's entrance, but when Hannah talks to Amber backstage, Amber tells Hannah that she had been an unpopular girl with glasses when she was young, and she always pretends like it never bothered her. So Hannah actually starts to feel guilty about the trap, and she gets Amber to promise her that she'll be nicer to kids in the future, and tells her to go through the red entrance while she goes through the trap.
My friend, but million. Girl feel disconnected.
So then Hannah becomes covered in fog, and back at school, it turns out all Amber has done is boost Dandruff Danny's placement on the list, not Miley and Lily's. Lily paces a similar trap of greens. Meanwhile, Jackson and his dad try to sort out a problem with like a really noisy dog, and I don't really need to say that much more about this. Singing with the Stars is a parody of Dancing with the Stars, and obviously kind of like the Voice parody. Shakira's mentioned in this episode, which is interesting. It's first revealed that Jackson's middle name is Rod in this, Jackson Rod Stewart. And it's interesting because Miley actually did not interact with her dad or Jackson in this episode, which has happened in previous episodes. Jackson and Robbie never left the house in this episode. Okay, now we got Smells Like Teen Sellout. This is like one of the most notorious episodes. I love this one. It's based on the title's a reference to Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Hannah is given a perfume line to a sponsor and soon realizes that the smell of raspberry actually makes her sick. So she reveals that she was once in a pie eating contest and ate too much raspberries, and now she is triggered by them. So she decides to lie, making her stick it out in order to keep the gift she's received from the sponsorship, including a car.
It's beautiful.
Yep. Too bad we gotta send it back.
Say what?
Yeah, Mal, they're not gonna let us keep it once you back out of that commercial.
The only thing I'm backing out of is this driveway and my sweet new ride.
And later, Hannah has a television appearance to sponsor the perfume, and worried that she might get a whiff of the perfume and gag, she puts an injection of medicine in her nose. But during the interview, she tries to lie, ends up having giggles, hiccups, because Lily telling her that she giggles and Oliver hiccups when they lie, which is a funny psychological issue.
You know, when I get nervous, I sweat. Like a pig!
And after hearing that, she starts to do that. So she eventually decides not to put the perfume on in the market and loses her car.
You do what you feel is right. I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy what time I have left with Maria.
So inevitably she decides not to. So in the end, she ends up losing the car. But in the subplot, Jackson and Oliver work on an audition tape for a TV program called Teen Wilderness Challenge, which is really funny. This is like one of the first times we see Jackson and Oliver like each other a lot, and I definitely think later episodes this becomes one of the best tropes.
Give me a slice. I can't do that, man. Come on, I'll give you 3 puka shells and these magic fire sticks.
Jackson, get a grip. You're stronger than this. Sure, I could give you this pizza and you could stuff your face with the pepperoni and the sausage and the cheesy-filled crust, but you don't want to do that.
I don't.
Now for the season finale of Hannah Montana Season 1, we have, the title is a spoof of Bad Moon Rising from 1969. Bad Moose Rising, which is a parody on the Creedence Clearwater Revival song Bad Moose Rising. So Jackson's plans to go to the baseball game are canceled when he has to take Miley and Lily to the mall.
No way, it's not gonna happen. Cooper and I are going to a Dodger game today, and I'm breaking in a new foam finger.
So they can go shopping for Hannah Montana's fashion show. So Jackson voices his complaints, but Miley blatantly says she doesn't care, and says to use the tickets to wipe his tears, which is kinda dark. Jackson is so annoyed with having a younger sister who always needs him to chauffeur her around at the expense of what he wants. So Jackson calls out Miley, saying she's too selfish to give up a day just for him. So they make a bet to see whether Miley can handle Mr. Dotzig's niece, Patty, for an entire day.
Whatever she wants, no complaints.
Deal.
3, 2, 1.
Make me a sandwich or I'll scream.
What?
So after a half day, Miley is annoyed, ready to give up the bet, but Patty becomes bored and wants to go home. So Jackson, not wanting Miley to win the bet, advises Patty to sing a song to make a moose store. While Miley finds out that Lily... So Jackson tries stalling to get an employee to name 100 of the custom moose, including Moose Lee, Moose Skywalker, and I Love Moosey. However, Miley's rushed to quickly make Patty's moose. Patty thought her moose did not have enough stuffing, so Miley started the stuffing machine and it wouldn't stop. So that she wouldn't get in trouble for using the stuffing machine, Miley hid it behind her back when an employee came, and the nozzle ended up in her pants, which filled it with cotton, and Patty starts acting up when she finally snaps.
Hear what he said. I've done enough for you. I'm sick of this. I have my own life, and I'm not gonna let you ruin it.
That's it! I win! You blew up!
I did not blow up!
Which is exactly what Jackson's point was trying to teach. So she learns that Jackson and her is exactly like her, and she realizes it wasn't really fair to give up his life for her the same way it's not fair for her to give up her life for Patty. And Jackson says that he wants to take Miley to the fashion show out of his heart. In the end, Miley walks the runway as Hannah Montana, but she has a problem with the zipper and the moose costume, so she wears the moose costume. In the subplot, Robbie is sick and has a fever, so Roxy tries to cure him.
It looks delicious, Roxy, but I'm just not hungry.
Oh, honey, you don't eat the funk. The funk eats you.
Whoa, what are you doing?
And after putting it on his chest, clears up his sinuses. And Jackson later comes in and asks Roxy for more of her homemade soup, causing her to realize that Jackson ate the funk, which is actually kind of gross. Yeah, Make a Moose is a parody of the Build-A-Bear workshop. Moose Lee is a parody of Bruce Lee, the famous martial arts instructor. I Love Moosey is a parody of I Love Lucy, a sitcom from the 1950s. And I guess that ends our Season 1 retrospective. Weird episode that doesn't really tie up anything. But it is a perfect season when it comes to every character had a turn with one another, and we learn a lot about the different dynamics that work and don't work through this first season. And as we get to the next season, you're going to see how well the Hannah Montana crew kind of implemented these changes as the show just gets better and better from here. This is still a remarkable season, and I feel like if Hannah Montana ended after this season, it would still be a remarkable show. Like, the idea of this pop star persona having to take on so many different aspects of life, but having two sides is such a good metaphor for growing up, and I'm not going to be able to reiterate that enough. And I love the dynamics of the characters. They all have their fears, they all have their quirks, and then they all kind of conflict with each other in a way that doesn't make them unlikable, which is such a hard thing to do in any kind of television show, let alone a kid's show, let alone Hannah Montana. And this is definitely one of my favorite shows on Disney Channel for a reason, which is why you're gonna see me have this show first. But yeah, overall, the first season is just such a good season. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this entire video. I know this is a super long-winded one. I feel long-winded. I pretty much did this entire voiceover over the course of 2 hours, so I'm actually running out of breath right now. But thank you guys so much for watching and being as committed to watching this as I am to Hannah Montana, because I just think this is such a culturally great show. It does everything iCarly did, but a little bit better, and is grounded in a lot more empathetic and social emotional lessons than you would ever expect. And looking back, I am so impressed with how they set everything up, and I'm so excited to keep watching this show along with you guys. But in the meantime, what do you guys think? How was your feelings on the Hannah Montana first season? And also, how many episodes didn't you remember? Because most of these got shelved because of all the better episodes that came out after it, but I definitely don't think these episodes deserve to be forgotten. So I'd love to hear more about what your guys' reflections were on this season, how you remember being introduced to each of the characters, the relationships between Miley, Robbie, Miley Jackson, Miley Lily, Miley Oliver, and then all of the other relationships in between. Maybe even the guest stars. I think some of the guest stars that we could definitely highlight this season would be most notably Jake Ryan, who ends up being somebody that comes back later, but you know, it's a really interesting dynamic because not only is he Hannah's like kind of alter ego or the character's reflected attributes, he also is a love interest, which adds a lot of really complex dynamics. And I love that he's only in a couple episodes, so we gotta kind of get a taste. It would be really annoying if he never came back, but I think we all know he does. And it's going to get a lot more interesting from here. So he is definitely the highlighted guest star this season. I definitely have to give a notable mention, though, to Roxy. Roxy is such a good side character. I guess maybe the actress was just so funny, or the bodyguard was just needed, but every time she's in this show, just gets better and better. Because not only is she a comedy bit, she's a really likable character for wanting to protect Hannah, as well as being somebody in her life that knows both identities. And it's just a sweet relationship, and I can't wait to see more of Roxy again in this show. And honestly, I wish she was more in the second half of the series. as we know, it like kind of ends up being a little bit less about that. But Mr. Danzig is somebody that really doesn't come back that much, but he's definitely a really funny comedy relief to kind of get Jackson going in this series. Obviously, later we don't need to see him as much. I think he comes in a couple times, but that place is kind of filled with Rico and Oliver. Like, there's already enough characters in the main cast that this is kind of necessary. I'll also note that Rico is not technically a main character in this first season. He's only in like a couple episodes. So I would say that Rico is also the highlight of this season as a guest star, if not better than Jake Ryan, because Rico is such an interesting character, and I can't remember if he was intended to be in it. I don't think so after not being in the like pilot or first couple episodes, but as the beach becomes more of a central location, we really get to know Rico a lot better, and he becomes more of a mystery, and the more devious he gets, the more fun it is to watch him. I love that he's kind of starts to serve as more as Miley's nemesis going forward, because he's really not like that in this show. He's a lot more of the antagonist of Jackson, but Rico has a lot of room to grow, and I'm so excited to see how that goes too. Otherwise, what do you guys think of this entire season? Leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Johnny 2000.